Hello and welcome everybody to another session of Three Things Thursday. And today we have Karin Fisher. She is the chairperson of the State Advisory Panel, and she'll talk about what the State Advisory Panel is and why you as a parent should be involved in it. So I'm really excited to have her today, and we have some resources that we put up. So the website and some of the things that Karin is going to talk about is linked in that website. So Karin, take it away. And so thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I know what I need to flip it now. There,
you're good.
That looks right. Okay, yes. Welcome and good morning. Thank you for being here today. Like she said, we're going to talk about the State Advisory Panel and the who, why, and where. So who are the members of the State Advisory Panel? You have students, parents of students with disabilities, as well as people with disabilities on the panel, and agency representatives, as well as the state special education director. And you see here a photo that was taken a couple of years ago when we were meeting in person. We do have quite a large panel. Now, most of the members on our panel are parents of children with disabilities and individuals with disabilities, because that is the law. We need to have more than 50% of our panel membership to represent those parents and people with disabilities. Now, the other representatives, I'm going to go into a little more detail in a second, but I need to let you know that the members are appointed according to law by the governor or other state authorized individuals. And in our state, in Georgia, is the state special education director who appoints everyone. Now, our members represent, we pick them to represent all of the congressional districts in the state of Georgia. So we represent the whole state. So other panel members that we have will also include teachers, representatives of institutes of higher education like myself. I'm an associate professor of special education at Georgia Southern University, and I am also a parent of a child with a disability in the public school system. We have state and local education officials, administrators, representatives from other state agencies who are involved in the financing or delivery of services for students with disabilities. We have representatives from private and public charter schools. We have one representative of a vocational community or business that's concerned with transition services. We have representatives from the State Juvenile and Adult Correction Agency, as well as the State Welfare Agency, who is responsible for foster care. Now, some of those agency representatives we have include members from Georgia Association of Educational Leaders, GCASE, which is the Georgia Council of Administrators of Special Ed, and the Georgia School Superintendents Associations, Babies Can't Wait, Georgia Advocacy Office, as well as parent training information centers like Parent to Parent. Now, our SAP members serve without compensation. However, when we do meet in person, the state does reimburse us for things like our hotel room, or if we need to provide childcare for our children. Excuse me. Members may be appointed to serve more than one term. And the terms are 3 years. They begin July 1st and expire June 30th. We stagger our terms so that not everyone is rolling off and on at the same time. And members shall serve no more than 2 consecutive terms. So they can serve for up to the 6 years. If you want to join, the way you do so is go to our website, and I know the link was posted for you, but here's a screenshot of it. However, you won't see an application now to join because that will go live in January. And then we post it for the whole month of January for at least 30 days. and then you will apply, and it goes through the application process. So if this is something that you're interested in, look in January, and the applications will be for the 22-23 school year. Now, what are some functions and duties? Oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you might ask why. Why is there a state advisory panel in Georgia? And the reason why, and I alluded to this earlier, is because it's the law. It is cited in IDEA, and this is the exact language. And all 50 states have this, have to follow and have a state advisory panel for special education. Georgia also has it in their state law. Now, the function and duties, the most important one we have is to advise about the unmet needs within the state in terms of special education. So we are an advisory panel. So we also make comment publicly on any rules or regulations proposed by the state. We advise in developing evaluations and reporting on data. We see lots of data. We advise in developing corrective action plans if needed, as well as developing and implementing policies around the area of special education. We advise on issues of disproportionality representation in special education, as well as review and comment on completed due process hearings. We serve as a stakeholder committee as outlined in the Georgia Continuous Improvement Process. And lastly, we listen to public comments. And you may ask, like, what are public comments? So let me explain that to you. So public comments are an opportunity for you, the public, to inform us about your views. However, those public comments and people who participate do not have any decision-making authority. You just provide input when you make a public comment. So the SAP takes that input into consideration when making its decisions. If you have a specific issue about a particular student that actually should not be addressed through staff, it should go through the Georgia Department of Education, Special Education Support Services. The general public may attend the public comment session, which is set aside for each of our meetings for 30 minutes. So when we met in person, the visitors would occupy a special area that's just for visiting people who want to make public comment. We're meeting virtually now, which we've had for the last couple of years. And so someone who would want to make a public comment, we would let join our virtual meeting during that 30-minute period. So those comments may be made orally, like in person or by phone, or you could submit a written public comment, which is read. And if you do make a public comment orally, in person, or by phone, it is limited to 5 minutes per person. You must speak your full name and the county of your residence. And the comments should be factual and abide by confidentiality standards. And so you shouldn't mention specific students or teachers or administrators when you make these public comments. The comments are taken under advisement, but we do not give you a response during that public comment session. There is a brief summary, which is recorded in our minutes, that we take into consideration when making future decisions. So you might ask, well, how can you participate in this public comment? Well, let's see. I know the website was provided to you, but this is just a screenshot of that section of our website. And you can see here under public comments, it says procedures, and that lists some, in more detail than what I just gave you, the procedures. And then there's a printable form and an electronic form. So all these comments must be submitted online, email, regular mail, or fax, and that number is provided there in the directions, to the chairperson and received by 4 p.m. at least 3 business days prior to our next scheduled meetings. So our next scheduled meeting is October 29th. So if you wanted to make a public comment for our October 29th meeting, you would need to submit it by October 26th. That is the SAP in a nutshell and how you can participate either as a member or by submitting public comments. And now I would like to open it up to any questions that you may have.
So thanks, Karen. We don't have any questions so far, but I think this is really great information, especially as a parent. If you want to participate at a policy level, we're always talking about advocating for our children and advocating at the IEP meetings, but this is a different level of advocacy where you can be involved in some policy making decisions or contribute towards it. So I think many of us don't know that something like the state advisory panel even exists. So if you're a parent and this is of interest to you and you're looking even to find out what's going on, what is the state doing, that kind of information, this would be a great avenue either to become a member of the panel or definitely to submit public comment. So thank you so much for that information. And if, like I said, if anybody has any questions, you can always call us at Parent of Georgia. We can definitely field your questions. So thanks, Karen. And I just wanted to say next week, we have Jason Byers, who is from Georgia DOE again, but he's going to talk about PBIS, which is positive behavior support in the school system, and talk about school climate. And, so this Karen kind of wraps up our whole session on Know Your School System. We did a whole series this month, a little bit last month and this month on knowing your school system, and then we're going to talk about PBIS. So thank you so much, Karen, for all your information. That was great. And thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you all next week.